Okay, so I kind of hate to show you this because I really didn't play very well in this match. And also with a minus 3.4 rating in a 9-point match, I wasn't destined to win anyway. But either way, 10.41 is not very strong. I only made 6 blunders, but I also made 5 other errors and could have played better. Let's have a look. I went ahead and included errors in addition to blunders this time because of the fairly small total. And this is the first one. And I went for the hit here instead of, and you may have heard me say this before, it's always a good idea to make the 5-point. And when I say always, I mean very nearly always. But you need a really good reason. And in this case, even a fly shot hit is not sufficient to overcome the advantages of making the 5-point, and in this case, making it a 4-point prime as well. Next roll, at it again. I hit on the 5-point when it would have been a very good idea to simply make the deuce, and there are 3 checkers back, and having an anchor would have been a much stronger position than setting myself up for a double shot. 7th roll of the game, I come in with the ace, and this is going to start to sound like a broken record, but it would have been a good idea to make the 5-point. 8th roll, I'm kind of packing in the errors here. Here I make I play a 4 and 2, and I hit on the 3-point. I put a checker up. I make a point in the inner board. And honestly, pointing on a blot in your inner board is almost always a good idea. And making the 5-point is almost always a better idea. We move on to game 3. I'm trailing 4-1. I have a pretty strong position here. And no, I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. I don't have a strong position here because I don't have a checker on the bar. I really need a hit to win. Anyway, I have aces to play, and I play them down and slot the ace point. And probably should have just popped in both checkers here and worried about that later. Again, saving 6s seems to be just not a great idea. We are now in game 4. I'm trailing 6-1, and I throw aces again. I thought this seemed like a pretty basic kind of a play to make the 7, make the 5. See, I do sometimes make the 5. And then split with the checkers in the back. XT likes 3 of those 4, and would have strongly preferred to see me play 11-10. And it's a pretty big number here. This is a plus 0.635 for the correct play, and it's only a plus 0.588 for the play that I made. This is an error, not a blunder. You notice the errors are in kind of a lighter purple. I don't use red because I'm colorblind, and I can tell the purple and the black apart a lot more easily. Here's another one where I got a little bit hit happy, trying to take away a half a roll. Would have been much more well advised to simply come down and bring another builder down to the 8-point and hopefully extend that 4-point prime a little bit. Let's see, we also have, there are a couple of queuing errors here. Let me back this up just a little bit. I'm trailing 6-1, and I've got a prime started, and I've got my checkers back, and if there's a time to double aggressively, it's when you're down 6-1 in a match to 9. So it would have been good to double before this roll, and to double, the initial position is this. To double before this roll, and this was the initial position here. So obviously I've got a great chance of making a 4-point prime with neither of these checkers even advanced, and these 2 checkers split, which theoretically should give me a good chance to get a hit and put a 3rd checker back there. So that was an error. And this was also an error where I played, what did I play? I played 16-9, thinking that I would try to add to the prime from the back, and passed up an opportunity to make the 4-point and have a 4-point prime that's just a little bit closer to these checkers on the ace. So you see me making the same mistakes over and over again, which are not taking innerboard points, not making the 5-point, and you do these kinds of things often enough, and that's when you wind up with ratings like 8 or 9 or 10 instead of 4 or 5 or 6. So make those innerboard points, make the 5-point, and worry less about the building a prime from the back and taking the checkers out here. Thanks for watching.